My fiancé, 36M, has been getting very close with a new female coworker, 24F. I talked to him about it privately and he informed her. Was I wrong to bring it up? Throw away because we check Reddit together. As the title suggests, my 32F fiancé, 36M, and I have recently had a discussion about me feeling a little insecure in our relationship. He is a very kind and charismatic man, and we have been together for 4 years, engaged and living together for 1 year. We have never had major issues like this before because we have always been transparent with one another. 2 months ago, a new girl, 24F, began working at his office. She is very young, and based on our limited interactions, seems generally good-hearted, but I kept having a growing feeling that something was off. He had been coming home every day raving about her and how nice it is to have someone in the office who understands and laughs at his jokes. It seemed like an innocent work friendship, but he started to give me other details from their conversations that had me concerned. For instance, she would announce to him when she was ovulating or starting her period as an excuse for being grumpy or overly touchy. She began describing, in detail, all of the sexual encounters she has had since moving to our city, and he was relaying some of these stories back to me as if they were exciting work stories. 2 weeks ago, I met her for the first time at a company dinner. I told her it was nice to finally meet her after hearing so much about her. She smiled, ignored me, and began talking to my fiancé about how different I was from her expectations. The next week, she had apparently been talking a lot at work about how pretty she thought I was and how lucky my partner and I are to have found one another. It felt strange that she had a lot to say about me but didn't even speak to me when we had a chance to interact. I chalked it up to being nervous or shy. Last week, my fiancé came home with a very detailed story that she told him about a failed sexual encounter, seeking advice. I felt very uncomfortable with this and let him know that while it's likely just my insecurity, I don't trust this sort of behavior. He told me to give it time, and once I get to know her, I'll see it's completely innocent. She asked him to meet up with her over the weekend, and he went so far as to arrange a meeting, without telling me until the day before. We had originally made dinner plans with my parents, and he told me he would come later on because he needed to meet with her to discuss her relationship problems. I very passionately told him that this is not okay, and he canceled his plans with her, adding that it was cute that I was getting so jealous of her. We had a short chat about it later, and he said he would establish some distance. This Monday, after work, she called his personal phone. She said he had not sent her any jokes at work that day, and she wanted to know why. I told him he needed to set boundaries immediately. It's fine to be friendly with people in the office, but it really felt excessive that she was calling because he was enacting some kind of boundaries. I was upset that he had given her access to private communication line as well. He said he would just tell her he was busy with work, and the thought to send jokes didn't cross his mind. And I thought that would be the end of the conversation. My fiancé, 36M, has been getting very close with a new female coworker, 24F. I talked to him about it privately and he informed her. Was I wrong to bring it up? Part 2. Today he came home from work sulking and refused to talk with me. Eventually, he told me that he explained to her that I was feeling insecure about how close their friendship had become. And she said that she didn't want to make me uncomfortable, so she said she wouldn't speak to him at all anymore. He was crying and told me that she's just like a younger sister. He's an only child, and he was happy that she trusted him, but he was forced to end the relationship because of me. I apologized and told him that I had expected him to keep my feelings private and adjust his behavior rather than telling her everything. He said that would be dishonest and he didn't want to distance himself from her without making her aware of the situation. I asked him why it was so important for him to discuss very personal and NSFW topics with a younger woman that he has only known for 2 months. He angrily expressed to me that I'm trying to police his joy and said that I'm just upset that he's been too happy since meeting her. He said I should have never brought it up. I feel that him telling all of this to his coworker is a breach of my trust in him. He is convinced that I ruined their relationship by being jealous. I feel really bad because he was very happy at work and was happy about joking around and having lunch with her. But he said that because of me, they can't have any kind of relationship at all. Was my expression of feeling insecure the catalyst? Should I have kept this to myself? Edit. Thank you all for your advice and particularly for the articles about emotional affairs. I am going to have a discussion with him tonight and be completely honest about my feelings and go over some of the signs. I'll let you know how it goes. Update. We discussed the situation one-on-one, and he agreed that he was very much in the midst of an emotional affair, but claimed that it just felt good to have attention from someone at work. He said it might be a good idea to hear perspectives from some of his coworkers, so I reached out to 2 of them and I asked what they thought of the relationship. One coworker said it was obvious what was happening and they didn't want to get involved because they didn't want to be the one to break that news to me. Another coworker said that he witnessed some of their conversations, and this is just the way people in the office chat. My fiancé clung to that last opinion and started making excuses again, so we had the emotional affair conversation all over again. He said this is too emotionally charged for him to make a decision right now. I told him that I do not lack that capacity, so he gets 24 hours to sort out his priorities and have a heart-to-heart with me. Otherwise, he can go live with his work wife. Update #2. I sent him this post while he was at work. He read the comments and took them to heart. My fiancé came home from work with flowers, crying heavily. I told him that this woman would try to speak with him behind my back, and she did. He realized everything I told him, and what he read here was true. He apologized for not acknowledging my feelings. He said that I am the greatest thing that happened to him, and he doesn't want to lose me over this situation. He will be calling a therapist next week for him to begin private sessions. We will move to couples therapy from that point. We haven't set a date for the wedding, so we will continue the engagement without rushing anything.
I, 28F, am pregnant with our second baby. 28M husband wants me to abort and divorce me. Please help? My husband and I have been married for almost 2 years. We have a 15-month-old and we plan to have this second baby. Our relationship has always been up and down, but recently when we were doing good, we talked about having a second child close in age to our first, and now I'm 10 weeks pregnant. About 2 weeks ago, we got in a major argument, which turned into him sleeping in a hotel every night and not coming home to see our son or talk to me. His mom thinks I should get an abortion, which I think has been part of his whole shift in not wanting this baby anymore. Because he was really excited about it prior to her saying that. He's been so mean and avoidant, and I just don't know how to get through to him. I've already had 2 abortions prior to our marriage with him. And on top of all this, he wants a divorce, or he wants me to sign a postnup. I found out he's in Vegas right now with his buddy, and he told me he isn't wearing his wedding ring. He's been following random girls on Instagram. It's just too much. From the beginning, I've been very excited to have this baby, and really didn't even consider an abortion until now that infidelity is in question, and just coming to realize how horrible he's been. I've been praying over him and our marriage every day, and it just seems like it gets worse and worse. I'm starting to question my faith, honestly. I just don't know what to do. We've had one face-to-face conversation this entire time where we could talk about our feelings, but other than that, he continues to stonewall me, gaslight me into thinking our friends and family don't like me, gaslight me into thinking all of this is my fault, and is coercing me into an abortion and a divorce that I don't want. Please help.